Hi, I'm Jochen Schleser. I'm the founder of Saddlefit for Life. Today I'm talking to you about what causes saddle slip. Saddle slip or saddle shifting is one of the most common things we see when we fit a saddle. So why is it such a big deal? Well, when the saddle shifts, the saddle will press against the spine where the multifidus muscle is. So that is not very good because the multifidus muscle is a very important muscle to give the spine the strength. If the saddle slips or twists, then the spine can be under such a stress that it causes kissing spine. The horse will show you refusal. You as a rider need to give more aids, and you're trying very, very hard to get the horse forward. And it's very difficult to bend the horse properly to the left or properly to the right. You will see if your saddle slips to the right, good luck to bend him to the right. You know, it's easy to bend the horse to the left, because if your saddle slips to the right, the back left panel is pushing against the spine, which is an indicator how I bend my horse. So if the saddle says bend left, but you want to bend right, the horse is confused. So it makes the saddle very unstable, it moves a lot, and it causes a lot of problems on the scapular where the saddle drives into it. So how can you tell your saddle slips or twists to one side? There's a few ways how you can do it. The best way, of course, is to have somebody riding behind you. You know, you're going for a trail ride and somebody's riding behind you. They can see the whole horse from behind and they see you leaning to one side or the saddle goes to one side. Because often a pattern when we ride every day, we don't even notice I'm sitting offside. So somebody else's eyes, very helpful. Let's say there is nobody who can ride behind you, but there's somebody with his phone and he can videotape you. Always do it in the rising trot towards the camera and away from the camera. Only in the rising trot, the horse keeps itself straight, all legs are in the air, the horse is suspended, and the rider stands up straight. In the walk, there's always one foot down, and the horse always leans to one side more than the other, or in the canter, he's cantering right or left, so that's not a good pattern. So rising trot towards the camera, towards you and away. Another one is very, very good is if you ride without the saddle pad. Don't clean your your horse very much. Keep him a little dusty. Ride walk, trot, canter, each direction a couple times. And then when you take the saddle off, lift it straight up. Now, because there's always dust in the air and we're riding in rings, so the saddle will leave a mark. So where the saddle was sitting, you can see an outline which is formed by the dust, how the saddle was sitting on the horse. If the saddle slipped or twisted, clearly you can see how it pressed against the spine or shift to the right side. Sometimes horses don't like saddle without a saddle pad. So you can also look, if your saddle pad, look at the bottom of the saddle pad. Now, as we all know, we should clean our saddle pad quite often. And there's dirt and the dust and sometimes the sweat. You can see if the marking on the saddle pad is not even. Now, the reason why I don't like that as much as the dust pattern, because sometimes only the saddle pad can slip. And you don't know, was that the saddle pad or was it the saddle? So, very good is if you use a camera, ride towards and away, and if your horse lets you ride without a saddle pad, the dust pattern is really, really good. Depending on why your saddle slips, there's a couple ways of temporary fix. For example, if your horse is lame and protects that leg, that saddle will always fall to one side. Obviously, we can't keep riding. We need to make sure the horse is not lame. If the horse is not lame and your saddle still slips to one side, there's a very, very good trick that you can use with your billets. The saddle has 3 billets on the left and 3 billets on the right. Wherever the saddle slips towards, let's say to the right, you use on the right side 2 billets, the first and the second, and on the left side you use the second and the third. Obviously, if it goes to the left, you reverse. You use on the left side the first and second billet, and on the right side the second and the third. Sometimes you only have 2 billets, or you have a Western saddle. The 2 billets can be crossed. You cross the billets where the saddle leans towards it, either on the right side, or if it falls to the left, you cross the billets on the left. If you have a Western saddle and you have a saddle where you can change the rigging settings, you always set the rigging 1 inch further forward to the side where the saddle falls to. Sometimes people can use shimming. There are special pads where you can put certain shim pads inside so the saddle doesn't fall to one side. But be very careful, because if you shim on the right side in the front, it drags the saddle to the right. So if your saddle goes to the right, shim it on the left side. It's counterintuitive because you think, it goes to the right, I have to shim on the right. No, shim on the front left. And on the back of the saddle, you shim on the back right, if the saddle goes to the right side. If the saddle goes to the left, you shim the front right, back left. You will see this makes a huge difference, and it will help you temporarily. It's not a full-time solution. And make sure when you use the shim pad that the pad is secured to the saddle. If the pad is not secured to the saddle, it's actually very bad. It's kind of you have an insole in your shoe and the insole slides around. Very painful. You would never have insoles in your flip-flops. Same with shimming. Make sure the shim pad is secured to the saddle. Saddle slip and saddle shifting is very, very important for you and your horse. Don't take it too lightly. Learn more about it. What you catch now prevents long-term damage to your own horse. So go ahead, check us out on our YouTube channels, on our social media. Click the link in the description, and we're looking forward to help you more.